Welcome to the Happiness Happens podcast. I'm Simona Nicole, host of the show, mindset coach, and motivational speaker. I've made it my mission to help you get unstuck, shift your mindset, and understand your worth to help you live your most purposeful life. Each week, I will bring you an idea, guest, or a positive thought that will leave you inspired and empowered to win your life. We decide the stories we tell ourselves and where we invest our energy. I'm so grateful you popped in. Now let's dive in. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Happiness Happens podcast. We are in for a treat today. I'm so excited to bring on today's guest and to share all the incredible things that she's going to talk about with you. Thanks so much again for coming back week over week. I'm so grateful for you, and I'm so grateful for your time and for investing in your self-growth and in your own self. It is amazing. So today on the show, we have Talia Lopez, and she is a multi-passionate self-made entrepreneur. She's a dementia specialist gone online business coach, going wherever God takes her. She is living her dream of changing the world of gerontology one senior at a time. But she didn't stop there. She completed what she thought was her life mission. So she decided to tackle something bigger. So she's now an online business coach for women wanting to create their dream business, create irresistible offers, and get seen in front of their dream clients. So welcome to the show. I'm so excited to have you.
Yay, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Me too. To start us off and to kick us off today, can you just tell us a little bit about the journey that's brought you to where you are? You have so many different, I feel like you wear so many different hats in terms of gerontology and then the online space. So yeah, even diving into a little bit of what that looks like for you.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So I'll start from last year. Okay. So my whole entire life, through middle school, high school, I fell in love with just seniors. I don't know why, I just knew my calling was to help them in some way, but I didn't really know what that meant. And then in high school, I really volunteered specifically with those with dementia. I fell in love with the idea of being able to help someone that doesn't remember what's going on right now, but I feel like it makes a lifelong difference. So anyways, so I fell in love with that. I decided to study social work in in college, I studied social work, and I did kind of a double major. I became a dementia specialist as well. At that time, I was a live-in caregiver, and then, and I had a bunch of internships, specifically at adult daycares. So I was sitting there okay, what am I going to do with my life? And I knew that I wanted to make some sort of change in the dementia caregiving field, just because I feel a lot of caregivers are educated maybe on the healthcare aspect of dementia, but not the actual caregiving. So I knew I graduated and I was so excited. I did a lot of leadership stuff too. So I was I'm going to be some CEO of the Alzheimer's Association, and I'm going to have this fancy car. So I graduated. I filled up my resume with so many things I did. I think one thing I can tap myself on the back was I didn't even know people partied in high school. I just studied. I seriously, I thought that was a movie thing. Anyway, so.
Oh my gosh, I love that. My mom would have loved if I had done that too. I'm just kidding.
My mom knew about the party thing either. So. But yeah, so I studied a lot. So I'm not even kidding. If you saw my resume, you'd think I'm awesome. And I thought I was awesome. But then when I was applying to these places, I graduated early with my degree in social work, and I became a dementia specialist in 2 years. So it should have took me 2 years, and because a lot of summer school. Anyways, so I was 20. I graduated when I was 20. And, I had a lot of leadership experience from high school and college. So I'm oh, I got this job. I'm so excited. And literally, nobody wanted me. Seriously. They were why don't you just start at the bottom? I'm where the people that didn't go to college are? What? So it was just a really big slap in the face. I did it anyways. I started from the bottom. And the jobs were so boring. And it really broke my heart because I knew that I wanted to be in this field, but I didn't resonate with what I was doing. I was an activity assistant. So I just played bingo all day. That's it. That's all I did. So all that college and all my life mission, it was just to play bingo. Anyways, so It's okay because I got really sick. So my whole life I have been very sickly. A lot of like autoimmune problems
Oh,
and
wow.
a lot of stomach issues. So, that's on and off, but I didn't let that stop me. But in 2019, which was the year I graduated, I so in May, yeah, I graduated in May, had that job, awful job in May, and then I got really sick and I had to go to the hospital. And then my flare-ups were every day, all day long. And
Oh
that
my
was
God.
something that was like different for me because usually I would have a flare-up maybe once a month. Now it was like an everyday thing. And I was in and out of the hospital. I spent like all of my savings on the doctor. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm poor. Like, I
Oh
don't know what
my
to do.
God.
So I was sitting there like, what am I going to do with my life? And yeah, I didn't have any money. Thank God my boyfriend had a job because we would have just been homeless. But um, so I'm sitting there like, okay, now what? And for some reason, I don't know why, I was just like, okay, I'm a dementia specialist. I have experience. I have expertise. I got educated. I have the experience because I was a caregiver for 4 years. And then I cared for my grandma, like, when I was in elementary school. So I was very, very
Oh,
educated on it. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to create online courses to help family caregivers understand dementia, understand their loved one, and everything that I've learned along the way. So I decided to create online courses, and it was amazing. Like, that was a hit. I started my first business at 20.
wow.
It is called Dementia Care Advocates. And it was just an awesome blessing that I was able to, like, that awful job that I hated. I was actually able to have a job working in the field that I wanted to work. My, completely making like triple what I used to make at that
Wow.
awful job. I was able to, like, all over the world, people were like taking the course, and people were like joining my Facebook group, and people were just telling me how awesome these courses were. And seriously, like, from all over the world. And that was something new to me. And it was just so amazing that I was able to impact so many people's lives and be able to literally live my dream life. And I also, in September, I've been in remission since 2019 in September.
Wow.
So no flare-ups for me. So yeah, I've literally been able to create my dream life. I don't know how. It just happened. It just
Just by
happened.
like,
Yeah, kind of
that's
just,
insane.
yeah, it was crazy. So I was sitting there like, okay, now what? Because I wanted more. I knew I was doing something amazing, but I just wanted a little bit more. So I was in a lot of women entrepreneur groups, and people were like messaging me, how did you do this? How do you create this? How do you market yourself? How do you do your email marketing? How do you, all this stuff? And I was sitting there like, you know what? I love to teach women how to be able to attract their ideal client and create the courses that I've been able to create, and, build their email lists and just all that good stuff. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to become an online business coach. And I wanted to transition my dementia care advocates business to a nonprofit. So it's actually still undergoing that process. And now I'm a full-time business coach. So I started at the end of last year, and I was able to literally, again, double what I used to make in my dementia business just from my coaching business. So that's what I
Wow.
do now. I help women be able to create irresistible offers. So specifically, if you want to create a course, coaching program, become a coach, whatever you want to do, I just help you create that dream life, create that business, and then market it.
Oh my God, I love that so much. This is actually kind of crazy that we're talking right now, because this is literally what I'm in the process of shifting into in terms of my niche. I've been doing mindset for a really long time, and
Awesome.
I feel like I'm talking to like a mirror of myself. And I think that's what happens. Like when you get to meet people and, like, I don't know, when you are connected, I don't know, it feels more
Yeah.
familiar than, I don't know if that makes any sense. I go off
No,
on
yeah, it's like, yeah, it's like, I don't know where you are, but like, you're like close to me, like in my
Yes.
circle.
I'm
Like,
like,
that
are
happens
you
all the time.
sitting beside me? Or yeah. That's amazing though. And especially about, being in remission with your autoimmune disease. It's incredible. And like, I'm curious, do you think that there's a correlation there between, you know, being unaligned with like the life that you were living versus
Mhm.
now kind of like feeling less stress and like more in alignment with with what you want to be doing? And like,
Yeah,
do you
so
think?
I really shortened that story up. What happened was I stopped going to the doctor because I couldn't afford it. And My family wasn't helping me. I didn't have a good relationship with anybody. So I was just doing it on my own. And they said, okay, you have IBS and Crohn's. So here's this medication. It's $500 a month and you can be on remission. And I'm like, what? It's $500 a month? Are you crazy? And so I tried to apply for Medicaid 5 times. I got denied. Remember, I had no job back then. And I was just like, oh my God, what am I going to do? So I started saying, I'm not going to go to the doctor. I have to find like a holistic approach or something.
Yeah.
So doing research and doing studies, and I found that turmeric, I guess it's a supplement.
Yeah, it's like a spice. Yeah.
So I started taking turmeric, and I'm serious, like that completely healed me. I don't know why. Like that's, how people are like, oh, use oils and do all these things, and you're just like, really? I'm not even kidding. I started taking turmeric and I was completely healed. And I mean, you're right though. My life back then at the end of last year was quite beautiful. That's when everything started to fall together. That's when I started actually seeing my, success pay off, because from 2018 and 19, the whole beginning, it was just like closed doors. And, like I said, I did everything right in high school. I did everything right in college. And it was just like, no, you can't be anything you want to be when you grow up. So when I started, being happy with where I am, and I always tell my clients, this is like my life quote, I embrace my plan B. So yeah, that's literally B, C, D, E, F.
LMNOP, like all of them.
So yeah, and I think it does correlate a lot with, like how I feel in general, and then how my body feels. I think so.
That's a really crazy point though, because like we go through our life and we do all the things that we should do. We're the A+ student. I wasn't, but a lot of people are. And you work hard, and you have your plan, and you go to this school, and you do this thing, and you want to get this job. What's it like sort of doing everything right and then still getting hit with no? Like what does that feel like, and how did you pull yourself out of that place of, that's where people can get so stuck in being like, I don't deserve to have anything more than this.
Yeah, no, that's really good. And I think I ask myself that every day, but honestly, I think the hardest part was, like I said, I didn't have like the best relationship with my parents. My parents were both really young. So, there's that disconnect there. But anyway, so my mom was always a person like pushing me to do anything I wanted. She was really like, you could be anything you want to be in life, because it happened for me. And like, I couldn't. So my dream was actually, I love the elderly. Like I said, long story short, but actually I wanted to create a foundation, 100% nonprofit.
Wow.
When I was in high school, that was like one of those ideas, like, yeah, one day I'll create something, one day. Yeah. But I really wanted to join the Air Force. And then they told me I couldn't because of my health. I break out when I get hot. So like when I don't know. See, like I don't know. Hives? They don't know. Like, so, yeah, I get hives. I break out in hives really bad when my heart rate increases. So I couldn't join the Air Force. So I was like the first door. And then, everything that happened with my health, everything that happened, like I said, like I had a great resume and nobody wanted me. I had so much leadership experience. I knew how to like rock interviews, but everybody said that they wanted someone more experienced, which ultimately meant older. So it really was scary, but I think my boyfriend was so supportive, and he was the person that I went to like, oh my goodness, like look what's happening in my life. And I think having at least one person that supports you and thinks that you're awesome helps, because I think during that whole time I knew that I was, that never broke who I am. Like when that girl, that lady, she was a executive director of a nursing home, and she was like, have you ever thought of starting from the bottom? And then working your way up?
No, I was like, I haven't.
I was like, yeah, absolutely. That's why I worked hard and did everything that I needed to do in order to be qualified for the position. And then I broke down. I was like, you said you only needed this, this, and this. And I have that plus 1,000 more experiences and so many more certificates. But I don't look how you want me to look, where I'm not as old as you thought I was. And then you're going to make some sort of opinion about me? No. So I think it never, it bothered me in a sense, like what's going on, but it never like truly attacked me. And I think like I didn't go into like depression or anything like that. I never felt bad. I kind of was just like, okay, what's next? Like, what can I do next? Because I need money. I didn't just stop because I didn't have any other options. So I kept just evolving, evolving my
I love
dream.
that. No, but it's true. And it is evolving. And then you continue to evolve and then you end up in a space that you're like, oh my God, I never would have imagined 10 years
Mm-hmm.
ago that you would ever, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you'd never imagine that you would sort of end up where you are now. And then now you get to help other people create incredible courses and offers, you know, that
Yeah.
really impact people on like a significant level. And I think that it's in the world of coaching and stuff like that, when especially when you talk to other coaches, a lot of coaches like help other coaches, but then you kind of forget that there's people who have other businesses, you know what I mean, who are wanting to get into something that's more specialized like you are, or I don't know, course on how to create flowers, or not create, but like plant flowers and grow.
Yeah.
How do you create them? You just dig up the seeds, like, oh my God, you know what I mean? So it's like you kind
No,
of
yeah.
forget that there's more than just helping like a fellow business coach create a course and a program for like another business coach, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And
No,
people
yeah.
have like important dreams. It's crazy.
No, yeah, it's beautiful. I think it's so funny because I'm so different. I think like it makes me so angry when I see a business coach that comes to me saying, "Oh, can you help me, become a business coach?" And I'm like, "Oh, do you have a successful business?" No, then why are you going to become a business coach? Like, I think it's so important to actually live like how you're trying to teach other people how to live, if that
Yes.
makes sense. You have to already
Yes.
have been there, done that, struggled, overcame it, then teach other people. I think that's what makes like a super authentic business, and it's super important to do that. But yes, people come to me doing different things, but I totally like say, no, I can't work with you if you aren't experienced. I always say, I'll help you if you have experience, expertise, education. That's
Yes.
so important.
Oh, that's really, really, really good. And it's
Mhm.
also like protecting your time and your boundaries and your energy, right? Like you're working with the people who you really want to work with. And, you know, it's kind of like,
Yes.
I don't know, in some sense, like I only work with people if they're going to put in the work. You know what I mean? Because if
Yes.
you don't put in the work, I can't help you. Do you know what I mean? Because like you have to
No,
want
yeah,
it. Like,
absolutely.
you know, it's kind of like, I don't know, you'll probably resonate with us. Like, I feel like it's so important for me anyways to like know your business inside out. Do you know what I mean? Like I want to know it so much that like I
Yes.
feel it like a type of way around it. You know what I mean? And if I care more about your business than you care about your business, I think we got a problem, you know?
Absolutely. No, I tell my clients, especially the ones that are starting off, I think it's super important to know your dream clients are coming if you know who they are. I'll have clients where they're just like, oh, like there's this girl and she gets on my nerves and she's like, doesn't listen, but I just really need money right now. So I just want to take her. And it's like, no, 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 no. Even on my application, in order to work with me, you have to let me know, like on the application, it says, what are you ready 100% to take your business to the next level? Is there anything that will stop you or get in the way of success for you? And most times people say no. I also ask like, do you have the time? Like, this is a time commitment. Do you have enough time to sit here and work on your business
Yeah.
3 to 5 hours a week? It's super important. I think pre-qualifying the person before you getting on the phone is super important, but it's a whole nother thing. But yeah, I definitely don't work with anybody that I truly don't believe wants to change the world. Like, so if you want to work with me and you have the time, but you just want money, I don't believe you're going to be successful. I think only the people that come to me that have some sort of dream about changing some like area of the world is successful, because it's easier to market that. It's so easier to be more personal with your brand, and you
Yes.
just get clients from it.
Exactly. I also think
Yeah.
that you have to like in everything you do, but specifically if you have a business, especially if it's a business that like you run your own self and you are the only person that runs that business,
Yeah.
when it's led from your heart, you can't go wrong. You know what I mean? Like when you're actually leading your business and what you love to do from your core passion and your core like love and heart in what you're doing, that shines through more than, you know, I don't know, especially like, okay, I'll just like sidetrack really quick, especially around all this coronavirus stuff that was going on, that was, still is, here we are. I hope by the time this airs that we're not still in that place, honestly. But you know, all these things about like recession proof plans. How do you know? Have you been there? Like, do you know what I mean? Like most people,
Yeah.
maybe you have, but a lot of people haven't. You know what I mean? It's a very, very new thing. And so it's like, kind of going back to your original point, like you can only really teach what you know, and you can't really promise an outcome to somebody because the person has to want it just as much as you want it. You know what I mean?
No, yeah. And it's just bad for business because honestly, like,
Yeah.
if they don't get the result that you promised them that you've never even achieved yourself, first of all, they're not going to get it, because if you haven't got it, you don't know how to get it, and you don't know how to teach it to them so they can get it. And it's just so freaking important to make sure that you know that you can help a person 100% before you work with them. Not, oh, I might be able to, maybe write some stuff up and help you later. Or no, you have you done it before? Have you helped somebody with that specific problem or helped yourself, and then get that client? Because it's just a mess. They're not going to give you a testimonial. They will probably, I don't know, just sue you, break a
You
contract.
promised me all of these results, and it's like, oh, but I didn't though. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, but it's so true. I mean, you have to know what you are teaching somebody else. You know what I mean? Like you can't go in and be like, I'm going to teach you this, and like, I don't know. It's a touchy subject. Cause like some things it's like, okay, as long as you're like a couple of steps ahead, then it's fine. But like you have to actually have done it to be able to tell someone if it's, yes, like if you can, I don't know. I'm literally stumbling over my words.
No,
but I think,
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. When you're building your offer, or when you're building your course, and when you're building something, what is like the one secret that you feel comfortable sharing about building and, selling and sharing an offer that is exciting and that is impactful?
Market research. I think market research. Oh my goodness. If I remember one time, that's how I do all of my coaching, all of my programs, everything. We start with market research. Whether you want to just become a coach or you want to just create a course, coaching program, I don't care what you're doing, you're going to start with market research, because a lot of people become some sort of service-based entrepreneur because they used to struggle back in the day with this problem and they've overcame it, but they're not everybody, if that makes sense. So like if you really have this great idea about this offer that you want to create based on what you are struggling with, well, are you selling it to you or are you selling it to other people? You have to actually ask other people if that's a good idea, how much they would pay for it. You have to ask them like what their pain points around it are, what they're specifically struggling with. Ask them like what their goals are. Ask them to like paint a picture. Like what would it look like if you could, take this program, take this course, do this service and be able to achieve this. What would that make you feel like? What would that look like? So I think that's important to do. So basically, so you can have some tangible advice, Google Forms. So Google Form it. You can send out Google Forms, but my number one advice is to get on Zoom calls with people, because you're building a relationship, you're building your audience, and they might just be a paying client along the way. But it's super important to ask them all those questions that I talked about, so that when you're marketing this awesome service, you're actually speaking from other people's like hearts and their dreams and their souls and their pain. That's how you make an exciting offer. That's how you make something that people actually want. And that's how you can actually guarantee people will actually buy it.
That is so good. And I think that's like one of the most key things that people tend to like overlook or not want to do, because it's like, well, I post this online and people like it and I get feedback and it's good, but it's like, then you have a launch of something and it's like crickets, because you don't actually know specifically what that person wants, if your price is right. And I absolutely agree. Other than that, is there any, specific key or like any other thing that you would say around like pricing your offer that feels aligned?
Oh yeah, for sure. So I'm all about, it's so funny. So I always tell people, I always like just blurt it out. I'm like, stalk your competitors. And they're just like, what? And I'm like, wow, yeah. Like, yeah, stalk them. I'm saying some coaches, full disclosure, some coaches say not to stalk or not to follow your competitors, because if you're not in the right mindset, you can start like comparing yourself and feeling like unworthy and feeling like, oh my God, like, why don't I have cute shoes? And why don't I have a fancy car? But that's not the point. The point is you need to stalk their website. So on their website, you need to look at all of their services and look at what exactly, like, like if you were going to be a client of theirs, what exactly are they offering, what their price point is. Then I want you to get out a piece of paper, write down, okay, I love that she has this. I love that she has this. I love that she offers this. I don't like that she doesn't include this, or I don't like that she has this. And then write down that price point of that person. I would say do this to 5 competitors.
That's
Then go back, and I always tell my clients to make your offers way more valuable than your competitor and a little less expensive. So that's kind of how I do it. So I always base my prices off of my competitors. For example, a tangible example, when I first started my Create and Thrive program, my Create and Thrive program is specifically to help you create a course or coaching program and market it. So that's all we cover. And so anyways, so I'm creating this program, and I'm like, I have no clue what to charge. So I went on a couple people's websites, and I was like, okay, this girl is charging $5.99 for just a course. You get no one-on-one support. So I wrote that down. I'm like, I don't like that she doesn't have one-on-one support.
Yeah.
And I went to someone else, and I was like, okay, she charges $2,000 and you only get 2 calls. And I'm like, that's a little expensive. And I wrote that down. And then somebody else, I can't think of it right now. Somebody else said something. I don't know. So I decided to, so like I said, that girl's was $2,000. The other girl's was, I don't remember, $5.99, $600, I don't remember. And then I decided to make just my Create and Thrive course $5.99, and it comes with 4 one-on-one calls.
I love that.
Something like that. So that's how I started off. But now that it's super like in demand, now that it sells out each launch, now I've increased the price with the demand. But starting off, like if you're just like a beginner entrepreneur or just beginning some sort of offer, try to see what other people are doing. Price it along the lines of that. Again, cheaper, more valuable, and then go up along the way.
I love that. That's a really, really good tip. And I also think that there's so much value in having that one-on-one support, which is something that I think people tend to sort of take away. Nowadays, they charge like a little bit more, but you don't get that one-on-one FaceTime. But
yeah,
I actually think that's the best way. Like, how else are you going to get to know your clients and like people and their businesses and what they love, what makes them happy, what makes them unhappy, where they're thriving, where they're not. Like, you need to be able to speak to people. And, I do like, every time I bring on a new client, I do like a strategy session, and I'm like more than happy to stay on for the allotted time if it means that, we're going through something, and, I'd never just be like, bye, time's up.
Oh my gosh, I know.
Like
with that.
It's crazy.
People do that all the time, especially, no, you're right though. I think like as people make more money as a coach specifically, I'm not sure about other service-based entrepreneurs, but I've seen as a coach, as people are making more money, the coaches are like giving you less and less time and charging you more. And I just think you have to go back to why you even started this. You started this not like a get rich quick thing. You wanted to truly impact the lives of other people. And also, for instance, for my one-on-one coaching, I offer, you get 3 one-on-one calls, and then you get a week of, voice message, email access to me, Voxer. So when you, so it's like I'm literally there through the whole process. So I'm there if you have a question about our call. I'm there if you, are struggling with just mindset and you're just overwhelmed. And then I'm there like just all the time. So I think it's important as a coach, or just if you have, as a coach, as a teacher, to give them one-on-one support, because you're going to be able to give them more transformation. And then if they get more transformation, that means you're just a better coach. And you can screenshot those messages. So I hate when people just be like, okay, I'll give you a 90-minute intensive. And my 90-minute intensives, you get a week of Voxer. It's super important, because when you just offer that one-on-one session, you can like just dump a bunch of information in somebody, but it's that implementing that's going to like get them results and also make you seem like you're an awesome coach. So really try to, if you you have the time, add a couple days of Voxer. I like Voxer. That's my favorite app, but there's different ones.
No, that's awesome. To be honest, I kind of just leave it like 24/7. I'm like, you know what? The whole time they were coaching together, here you go. You know what I mean? Like, whatever you need, because it's like, you might have a question in like a couple weeks and you're like, oh shit, like, should I ask that? You know what I mean? But again, it's like everyone does everything differently in their own way that makes sense for them and makes sense for their life and like the people that they serve. Right. how could someone, begin to build authority in their niche if they're like just starting out or if they're brand new?
I think this is super important. I think obviously the longer you are in business, the easier it is to build authority.
Yeah.
But I think the best way to do it is get out a piece of paper. I'm all about paper and writing.
I
Get out a
love
piece
it.
of paper and it's front and back it. So you're going to write down what you as a beautiful CEO or handsome, if you're handsome, a beautiful CEO, what would that look like? How does that person show up every day? How does that person speak to their audience every day? How does that person just show up on social media in general? What kind of offers do they create? How do they feel every day or every time they wake up? Or like what time do they wake up? Like really, really write down what that perfect, beautiful CEO, future you, will look like. And then show up like that on social media and show up like that when you're marketing your.
I want to quickly pause this interview and tell you about the Handel Group coaches that I've had the honor and privilege of bringing onto the Happiness Happens podcast. With every conversation and interview, I've learned something so impactful and so life-changing. Inner You Life is the online coaching course from Handel Group that gives you the tools to get yourself unstuck, wildly happy, and thriving where it matters most to you. Your relationship to yourself, career, love, body, money, time, and more. From wherever, whenever. Recommended by Hugh Jackman, Dr. Mark Hyman, Forrest Whitaker, Elena Brower, and hundreds more. Taught in MIT, Stanford School of Business, and 50 plus institutes of learning across the world. Visit inneryou.coach and use the code HappinessHappens at checkout for $75 off. Now, back to the episode.
Services. So like, for example, I know a lot of people, they're specifically on Instagram, they're like, oh, I don't have that many followers, so I'm not really going to get on stories every day. But when I do have a lot of followers and I am successful and I get some money, I'm going to be doing that every day because people are just going to love what I have to offer. And it's like, no, no, you won't get to that if you do not show up every day. So it's important. That's one way to build authority, show up every day.
For sure.
But also like write down what a perfect you would look like and a perfect CEO would look like and start acting like that person. Because when you're like talking about your services and being super excited and you don't really have that big of an audience, but people are gonna be like, oh, like she's talking about something super exciting because she's showing up excited and she's showing up confident. I kind of want what she has to offer.
Exactly. Oh, I love that so much. That is such a good point, especially the part about stories, because I feel like, it can be like scary. Some people are scared to get online. You're fearful of what people might think of you and all of those different things. But at the end of the day, like, I don't know, when I'm doing stories and I literally am just like, this is what my ideal client needs to hear right now. And there's other people watching and they might be judging, but like, if you don't like it, you can just unfollow, like, see you later. There's the button. You know what I mean? I actually kind of prefer that because it narrows down your,
Yes. Oh
your
my gosh, yeah.
community, like your little
Community.
incubator of
Ideal client or people that aren't ideal clients, like bye. I think that's
yeah.
important as well. Like some people say, especially like when we're launching, you need to be talking about your offer every single day. You need to be, for launch week, emailing your audience every single day. And people are like, oh, I don't want people to unfollow me or think I'm annoying. Well, if they unfollow you and think you're annoying, they weren't ever going to buy from you anyway.
No, exactly.
So like, bye. Bye.
We don't have time. It's so true though. Okay. How could, okay, actually, no, this is like a side, like random question. When you think about content and creating content, how can you, no, not how can you, do you prefer to batch your content in one and like theme your content, or do you prefer to just like fly by and be like, this is what I want to talk about today and we're gonna talk about this?
So let me talk on both because I do both, but I don't do the last part of what you just said. So let's start with just doing whatever. So if you wake up every day doing whatever, that means you don't have a launch plan, which means you probably don't have a successful launch. So it's super, super important. Like you see my board?
Yeah.
I have this board behind me that I write down like what I'm doing each week. So what I do is I have a theme of every single week for a year. So obviously some of the weeks are blank because I don't know exactly what I'm doing each week. So it's okay if you really don't know what you're doing each week. But for the next 3 months, each week has a theme. For example, next week I'm promoting a webinar, a free webinar. The next week I'm launching a program. The next week I'm I don't remember. It's somewhere. I'm doing something else. What am I doing? I'm doing a vision board party. So it's virtual because Corona. But anyways, so so it's super important to, I think, to theme your weeks. And then for my content, I have something. If you go to michaels.com, I type in like the Happy Planner social media calendar.
Mm-hmm.
It's so freaking amazing. It's this cute little notebook, and it has 30 days on it. And what I do is I write down, I guess you can get a regular planner, but this one's just cute. So I write down the theme and the topic of what I'm going to talk about for the next 30 days. So it's aligned with the week, what I'm doing each week and what I'm launching and doing.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the day of, so like today when I create my post, it's going to be 100% authentic. I'm typing it today. So I type it every day because I like to be creative in that sense. And it's personal preference, because some people are, like to batch it, but I don't. But I do kind of batch the topics because I want to make sure they're aligned with my launches and aligned with like my opening up my one-on-one service. I'm giving a free challenge, freebie, free whatever. So it's super important, I think, to theme it. That helps me so freaking much, because I wake up every day and I'm not like, oh, I got to do this. It's more like, oh, I got to do this. I wonder what I can, say. And I wonder, it's a little bit more creative. So I do a little bit of both.
I love that. Because I'm very similar to that. Like I like to have like themes for things. And like, if I have ideas for specific posts, I like have an app and I just use it and I'll like write things in or whatever. And it's so convenient because how sometimes you get like an idea and then a couple weeks later you're like, shit, that was a really good idea. Like, what did I want to talk about? Like, I forgot. But you write like a couple words and you're like, okay, yes, that's what it was. Like,
yes,
what I want to talk about. I do that very often. And, for a while I was always just like batching all my content in advance and doing everything in advance. And it would post it, like it would be good, but then I'd be like, oh, but I feel like talking about something different now. Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
I don't want to.
And you can switch it. Yeah. So like if I have a like Monday through Friday, let's just say I'm launching some sort of free challenge, and then I wake up, I'm like, oh, I don't really want to talk about that topic. I'll change Monday, exchange that with my like Wednesday post. I can do that. I don't like to like exchange for the whole month because again, each week is aligned with a different topic.
Exactly.
But yeah, I love to do that. So important.
It's so good. What do you do to be constantly learning and constantly growing in this niche, but also in everything else you do?
Okay, that's a good question. So I focused a lot for the last, I want to say 5 months on just business education. So I'm a business coach, so I'm biased. So I think it's super important for everybody to invest in a business coach specifically, but not just a business coach. So for example, this month, I'm not investing in a business coach. I'm on pause, and I don't know how long I'll be on pause for, but I've invested in a manifestation coach this month, and it's been so amazing. So I think just investing in different coaches. So whether that be money mindset, that's my theme for next month.
Love it.
That's my theme for next month. But this month is all about manifestation and just like, I don't know, my subconscious, rewiring my subconscious. And then, last month was all about business coaching and like marketing. So it's super important, I think, to have a coach, but just don't have one coach. Because I know some people come to me, they're like, I already have a coach, but like, I kind of want to work with you because you do a lot with social media, or you do a lot with courses, but I already have a coach. I'm like, just invest in 2 coaches. Like, everybody's different. So you're going to get different things.
That's exactly it. Like, you'll have different experiences with a bunch of different people. Everybody is, everyone has their own expertise. Everyone has their own like knowledge. You know what I mean? One of my favorite things that I ever did was invest in an energy healer.
Ooh.
Changes your life. I'm just saying.
Energy
it was
healer.
The best.
Like NLP?
No, like she's
oh wow.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna butcher it, and then she's gonna listen to this and she's gonna be like, really, Simona? She is a metaphysical. Well, I gotta find it. Otherwise, if I butcher it, it's not gonna be a good scene. One sec.
That's so cool.
I know, it's really, really cool. Okay, she's a metaphysical energy healer. So she essentially is, she does like these, the first session that I had, I'm sure with everybody it's different, but the first one that I ever had with her, she does this like energy healing session, and she's literally moving like energy out of you and like infusing it with light energy. I kid you, like my life changed after that happened.
Oh, wow.
It was crazy. It was wild. And I believe in all of that stuff too. Some people wouldn't, but if you're listening to this episode, you probably also, there's a lot of people who are very spiritual who listen to the show. Yeah. So it was so cool. It was awesome. And it changed, it helps you change your perspective. And she's like fully like channeling messages from my guides in that exact moment. And, you know, telling me things and, you know, and it all resonated. Like one of the things she saw was crazy. One of the things that she saw in like this vision was, oh my God, what was it? Like a field of pink flowers, like every type of flower, every size of flower, and like all pink. It was just like abundantly pink. And I was like, that's crazy because like, that is my brand. Do you know what I mean? Like, anyways, it was just wild. All of it was just crazy.
No, yeah, I think it's important. Just everything. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's funny because like if you asked me that question a couple months ago, it would have been like business coaching all the way. But no, I would totally, like, for example, I know a couple people that are investing in business coaches right now, and they're like, nothing's happening for them. And I'm like, if nothing's happening, then maybe you should invest in a manifestation coach so you can manifest that money, or you know, something, you know, there's different life coaches, there's different things that can, you know, help you. But I definitely think investing in multiple things, don't just stick to that, oh, I'll just spend $200 here, $300 there. Well, that's what you're going to get back. So it's important to really invest in different areas of your life, so those different areas can become one successful person.
Yes. And you know, another thing that's been super, super key, especially when you're investing in different people, is like, if you're looking to more of the spiritual side, like you have your people who are spiritual business coaches, they can bring in that side for you, and that manifestation side and all of the different things, you know what I mean? But that is more like their specific niche, right? So it's all crazy. So it's so crazy. I have like really unstable internet connection 24/7. So if it's freezing, it's me. I'm really sorry. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can now. But I don't know what's going on.
Cool.
Like my internet like dives in and out all the time, and it drives me nuts. And I'm like right beside the modem, and I'm like, but why? I don't understand. I don't understand. It's crazy. Okay. So what helps you show up for your clients and show up for your audience in the most authentic way that you like to?
I think I'm going to be cheesy with this, but I think it's just being yourself, because honestly, I even let my mom get in my head sometimes, but I'll look at other people and I'm like, oh my goodness, she's like, her brand is like high heels and like super cute hats and different things like that. But that's like 100% not me. And it's important, if you want to be authentic with your audience, be authentic with who you are, because it's going to be really uncomfortable. So, okay.
So definitely just got bumped out of my own Zoom room as we're recording this. So you were telling me about how you show up for your clients and your audience in the most authentic way possible. And you were giving such a good answer. And
I'll redo it. I got this.
Okay.
So I was saying that it sometimes I let my mom get to me, and just my head in general. I think this is like a limiting belief thing, but I'm going to go cheesy and say that you have to absolutely be yourself. So if you be yourself, you're actually showing up 100% more comfortable, which, you know, looks way more authentic. So for example, I see like awesome business coaches that are like having these like fluffy coats and these like, I don't even know a purse brand. Louis Vuitton, is that a purse? Louis Vuitton purses and like these high heels, and like, that's just not me. I'm more of pajama lifestyle. I mean, obviously with my chronic illness, I'm limited to a lot of things. So I'm a homebody, different things like that. So instead of like wishing I was that other coach and like buying the things that will make me look like them, or the suit and tie that will make me look more professional and older, I decided to be 100% me, 100% like, let's have a mastermind in my pajamas, leggings, like, because you can still be successful kind of person. I think that makes me, I think, super authentic.
I love so much that you said that, because I feel you on every single level. And I'm not about like the tailored posts and the, you know, perfectly positioned shot. Like that's never been me ever. Like if I could roll in, I almost wore a baseball jersey to this interview. And then I was like, I should probably put on a normal shirt. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yes.
I was just like, okay, like there's some things that like maybe it's different when you're in your mastermind space. You know what I mean? Because it's like everyone just like is friends and all kind of, you know, it's all cozy.
Yeah, I
it's
think
awesome.
it's important. Yeah, especially for discovery calls. Discovery calls, I mean, maybe a little bit. Yeah.
Like
I'll
maybe don't wear the hoodie. Like don't wear the hoodie with like your college, like college. Like, okay. No, I totally agree though. And it's it. Like that's totally it. Like you really have to, you nailed it. Like you have to do what feels like aligned to you. And you know, if you're trying to be somebody else, you're never going to feel satisfied. You're never going to feel enough because you're always trying to meet somebody else's expectations. And that's just crazy. And we do it all the time. Like,
yes, unfortunately we do. And I think back to what I was saying about my mom, it's because she comes from the corporate lifestyle. So when she goes on my Instagram and she sees me doing a video with like, I don't remember, me in like pajamas or me with my hair not like straightened and, you know, perfect and done, and me without no makeup, she's like, oh my goodness, that wouldn't, because that would never fly in her world. But we have to know in this world, it is okay to be who you are, like 113%.
Yes. The amount of times, especially during this coronavirus, that I've rolled onto my stories and I'm like, there's no makeup on my face. I'm like, look at all the bags. I'm like, oh, my eyebrows are starting to grow back in. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, really, if you don't like me because my eyebrows are growing, and then I think we got some deeper issues. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's not going to make somebody be like, oh, I'm not going to work with her. There's this one coach that I'm thinking of working with, and like, she is always with no makeup. And then she does this like, okay, I have no makeup on, watch in an hour what I'll look like. And then she'll post like a really, really like beautiful picture of herself. And that like for a second doesn't make me think, oh, she's unprofessional, or questions if I'll work with her. Never. So just gotta
it's almost like, yes, that's your personality. Like I'm here for it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, so this is my last question for you. And it's a question that I ask all of my guests when they come on the show. And it's, how can someone create a little bit of happiness in their day, every single day, starting today?
I think it's super important to remember why you started, especially as an entrepreneur. You know, we're building a business and we want to be successful. So we wake up every day with this like list of things that we have to get done. But the real reason we became an entrepreneur is because we wanted to become our own boss, live our life on our terms, spend more time with our family, be able to watch Netflix 24/7, whatever reason that you want to, or became an entrepreneur. Remember that every single day. And then take time off. Literally, I know so many people that do like social media detoxes, or like when I'm going for a walk with my boyfriend, I'll put my phone like away somewhere, or I'll leave it in the house. And I just think that's a really, really great way to create happiness. Go back to what lights you up, and then stop that entrepreneur work, because it's still going to be there when you get back. I think also I love lists and checklists and to-do lists, but I'm not even kidding. I have like a planner, and I said, I don't want a planner that says, this is what I got to do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. My planner is blank. And I put the week of the first week of March, this is everything that I want to get done. Then just check it off, because I like checking things off, but it doesn't create that like anxiety around, oh my God, I didn't get what I wanted to get done today. No, you are not further, you're closer to your goals, and you have so much more time to do what you love. Or you can even say, I'm only working 5 hours today. And that's a lot, especially if you're a full-time entrepreneur. That's a lot of hours. And then after that, stop and completely spend time with your family. Spend time baking. I love to bake. I love to eat cake. But anything that you love to do,
I'll just take some on my doorstep. Thanks. No, I'm just kidding.
That's funny. I'm not good at baking. I like cake.
You're so cute.
Oh no.
God, I love it. No, that is such a good point. And I think like, you know, what happens, this is from like my perspective, I think what happens is we see what everybody else is doing, how other people are showing up, what other people are creating. And we do all these things that other people are doing. And it becomes this like, oh my God, I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing it fast enough. I'm not doing this. Like I should be creating all the time. Like I got to do all of these things. And it's not like that, because the best way to get yourself in flow is doing things when they feel aligned to you, and like doing them, you know, essentially like when they feel aligned to you, and that kind of thing. But one of the things that, like, I'll take my planner at the beginning of the week and I'm like, okay, these are the tasks that I have to get done. I know I have a podcast. It's like a little bit different, right? Because I have interviews at like random times and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
But you know, it's like, what is the priority this week? Like, is it getting the questions out to my guests that are coming on? That is the priority. And if I do that one thing, like, I'm good, and like everything else is a bonus. You know what I mean? I think it's like key to like have the list, have the plan, and have like the intention. And if you don't accomplish everything, also be good with that too.
No, yeah, I think that's important. And also the thing with like everybody showing up, doing so many things. I think I always tell my clients, oh, you're watching Netflix, you're taking a break, you're cooking, take a picture of it so people can see what you're doing. And that's also a really good way to like build relationships with your audience. But like, it's okay to not take a picture of your work every day. It's okay to, like, when I'm on a walk to my mailbox, because I love getting packages, I'll take a picture of my package on the way to the mailbox because that makes me so freaking excited. But again, that's not work, and that makes me happy. So you can kind of sometimes incorporate that business with things that make you happy, because with a personal brand, people like to see what lights you up.
Exactly. And who you are at the end of the day, you know?
Yeah.
It's so important. Oh man, this was so fun. You provided so much insight in this episode. I love it so much. And I would love for you to let our listeners know where they can find you so they can connect with you and learn more.
Awesome. So I'm 110% always on Instagram. So my handle is always .advocating, LOL. So yeah, because my dementia business is called Dementia Care Advocate. So I thought that was funny. Always
That's so
advocating
cute.
is like, that's my handle, and that will always be my handle. But if you do follow me, please DM me. I would absolutely love to know you and see what you're up to. I love building relationships with my audience. So please feel free. My DMs are always open to you, and I'd love to connect.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on today. This was super fun.
I know. This was super awesome. You want to know a secret? This is my first podcast.
What? Oh my God, no way.
Yeah, you want to know something even funnier?
Yeah.
So I'm taking this manifestation course, and that's what I'm telling you, y'all need to, it's a program. You guys really need to invest in different things. So one of the things I wrote down is I want to be a guest on a podcast. And I didn't realize that, I think we spoke before, but I didn't, it's one of those things when you're kind of applying or people reach out, it's very, like,
you're like, will I ever hear back from them? Like, yeah.
Or yeah. And if you're not actively, like, I don't actively look out for, podcast opportunities, it's probably something I need to do, but I don't ever do that. So it's so funny when you messaged me this week, I'm like, I literally just wrote this down that I wanted to manifest that.
That's crazy. And like, okay, just for everyone who's listening, because I'm full of like, I just really like transparency. So we were supposed to do this interview, okay? And I'm sending her, I love to send like prep questions in advance just so people have an idea of like, so it's not like out of left field. Because I have been on episodes like other people's shows where they'll ask me like a question about something that I am not the expert in. And I'm like,
oh no.
Oh, it's awkward. Like, thankfully, like I can come up with an answer because I kind of, there's one in particular. And I was like, you did not just ask me that question. I was like, oh my God. Anyway, so I just related it back to mindset and it was fine. But I think that it's so important to send people questions in advance so that people have an idea of like where you're thinking of having things go, right? So anyways, I'm preparing all these questions and I go to send you an email to send it all over to you. And I see this other email that says, hey, I'm so sorry. Like, I don't know that you're a good fit for the show right now or something like that. And I was like, when the fuck did I send this? I was like, no. I was like, you need to come onto this show. I was like, oh my God. But I think I was just answering too many of them at the same time. And oh my God. Anyway, so this was already like in the calendar and it was already scheduled. And you're so cute. You were telling me before we started, like, I just thought that, like you would just reach out and like, just let me know whatever you wanted to do because we had it in the calendar. Anyways, long story short, here we are. Oh my God. Check your work, friends. Double check. Just saying. And we all make mistakes and we're all human.
So funny. Yeah, I was just like, you know what? Maybe I figured it was an accident because we were just like, maybe she'll cancel, but whatever.
No, you're so amazing. And I'm so glad that we had this conversation. And you're incredible. So I'm really excited to be connected with you. And thank you for all the insight you brought to the show.
You're so very welcome.
Oh, and thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in today. If you loved this episode as much as I did, please let us know. Send us a DM. Let us know online. I will put all the handles in the show notes so you can get connected with us super easy. And let us know what your favorite part was. Let us know what you learned, what resonates. And yeah, I hope you have an amazing week. And remember that happiness happens when you're least expecting it. Thanks so much for being here today. I hope these words have brought you inspiration, insight, and a bit more happiness. Please leave a comment or a review if this episode resonates with you. I would be so grateful. Until next time, remember that happiness happens when you're least expecting it.